Hey, my name is James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to share with you what I believe is the best property investing strategy. In fact, I think it still works in this market. I see thousands of people that are doing it. I've done it myself multiple times and I'm always looking for new deals that stack up and work with this strategy. This is a strategy that will work in an up market or a down market. It also protects you. It gives you more equity in deals. It makes it easier with lenders to get approved for finance and much, much more. So before we jump into this, if you're new around here and you haven't done already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We're on the way to 46,000 subscribers, which is bonkers. By subscribing, you'll get all the latest house price news, interest rate news, property investing news, and much, much more. And one more favor, please, if you could smash like, tickle like, do something to that like button. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm and that really, really helps the channel grow. So thank you to everybody that takes a moment to do that. So investing in property. A lot of people watching channels like mine and other channels feel that the days of being a property investor are over, that it's too hard to make money. You see, you have got things against you. You've got things like Section 24, which has been around for a while now, but it means that you have to pay tax on the gross income of your rental property and you can't deduct the mortgage interest anymore. Now that's a problem. Some people have their properties set up that way and it means that you can't make as much money as you previously could. Now you can overcome that quite easily by setting your properties up in a limited company. Hard to do on your old deals, but new deals, it worked very, very well. So investing in a limited company is the right way to do that. I'm just in Carcassonne in France, or just outside, just having a quick wander around. You can see some of the cool little things around the house here. I've not been down this bit, but that's the first step, is invest in a company that makes major tax preferences, improvements, and stuff like that. So that's step one. Next is that you need a strategy where you can add value to the property. That's very, very important. So serviced accommodation and things like that are good for high cash flow. They don't really add much value to the property. So what I like to do is to buy properties that need work doing on them. So an example is my first property that I owned. I bought it in Dorking in Surrey in 1999 for £45,000. Interestingly, I mentioned that on the channel. Someone said that's not true. You can check the title deeds if you want. It's 9 Galsworthy House in Dorking in Surrey. I bought that for £45,000, that property, and I lived in it. Initially, it wasn't a buy-to-let, and I lived in it for about 10 years. And then eventually I converted that into a 1-bedroom property. Now that conversion cost me around £7,000 to £8,000. Wasn't particularly hard. It was a stud wall, but at the time we put a new kitchen and a new bathroom, carpets, painting. Now I did some of that stuff like the painting, and I helped the builders that were mates to do that. But by doing that, it added at the time 50 grand to the value of the property. So what I mean is the difference in Dorking between a studio flat and a 1-bedroom at the time was 50 grand, especially if you were in the center of the town, which is where I was based, because people want 1-bedroom properties. Now the floor space didn't get any bigger because I couldn't move the walls outwards, can't put an extension because it's a flat, but the fact that it's set up as a 1-bed added massive value to that property. So that doesn't cost lots of money to do that work, but it creates value. Another example, Georgia is my oldest daughter, and that's one of the reasons I started this channel, was to hold myself accountable, to make sure I'm aware and updated on all the property legislation and news and everything that's going on in the market, but also to share it with you guys. And so I launched the channel as we started investing, Georgia and myself, and we bought a property in Doncaster. In fact, if you want to see the video of that, It's one of the most popular videos on the channel. If you sort by, go to videos, sort by popularity, I think you press, and you'll see in the top 10 is a how I bought from auction video. And you can see us actually buying that from an online auction. We bought it for £60,000, and that property needed a full refurb. Now, we did that refurb exceptionally cheap, with everything, all the costs, fees, everything. We got all the works done, including the purchase price of 60 grand, for £75,000. That was a bargain. And we were lucky because we found a builder that didn't have any work on, that could start literally on the Monday and just cracked on with that work. So he got us a really, really good price on that property. We've used him for a few other things up north as well since, and he's done some repairs and things like that. And so that property we bought for 60. We spent 75 total getting everything sorted, which I know sounds like it's not a lot, but so you're talking about 15 grand on top for stamp duty, solicitors fees, with and all this stuff. But you can get kitchens from B&Q under Trade Point for 1,500 quid if you don't go all out on getting the best kitchen in the world. Carpets to carpet that house cost me 600 quid, and I've had 2 tenants in there and they're fine still. So you can do this stuff on a budget if you learn that stuff. So that got revalued at 100 grand, and that allowed us to pull out all of the deposit and everything that we put into the property. So we've got 100 grand valuation. A buy-to-let lender will lend you 75% loan to value. I mean, that one just stacked up perfectly. They're not always going to be like that. They're not always going to be like that. Sometimes you might leave in £10,000 in the property. But the point is that you add value to the property, and that really does make a big, big difference. And so building equity is very, very important. So we call this buy, then we refurbish the property, then we refinance, so we get a new mortgage on that property, and then we rent the property out. Last summer, for my littlest girl, Amelie, who's had an amazing time here in France, in the pool every day with all her cousins and stuff like that, we bought her a flat in Dorking, very similar to my first property. It was a studio flat, and it was on for £120,000. You can see this on the channel. I've documented doing that project, and we bought that for 120. We spent 6 or 7 grand doing the property up, and for that we got a new kitchen, new bathroom, carpets, decorated. It's not that expensive. It's a very small galley kitchen. Units aren't as much as you think. You can do this stuff very cost effective. We've got the bathroom done. We've got carpet costs. I mean, the carpet cost 250 quid because it was a tiny little studio room. And the decorating didn't cost much on that property either. And then that got revalued at 170. So the reason this is the best strategy is because if you buy a property that needs refurbishing, if you buy it at the right price, so you need to check comparables in the area, see what they're selling for. You can look on Zoopla, on Rightmove to get that information. Then you improve that property on a budget, not going crazy, just on a budget, make it look better, improve that property so someone would be happy to rent that property from you. Then you refinance that property, you get some of that deposit back, meaning you don't have to wait so long to save to get the next deposit to buy a property. This is the smart way to do things. And it also, even if you don't want to pull any more money out, it creates more equity in your property. So I bought for 120. I spent less than 10 doing it up. Let's just say it's 10, that gets us to 130, but it's worth 170. So that's created 40 grand of equity in there, giving me more stability if the market goes down, or if I needed to sell it and flip it, I'd make some profit on that. Not loads after all the cost sales and capital gains tax and all that kind of stuff, but I would make some. And that's the important thing here. And so the buy, refurbish, refinance strategy, in my opinion, is the best strategy. I also don't sell properties. I've never flipped a property in my life. I think you hold the properties because longer term, they always go up in value. whatever happens over time, just because of inflation, properties will go up in value. Now, some areas, they'll go up very fast. Some areas, not so fast. London hasn't been that great over the last few years. The north hasn't been that great over the last few years. But you'll also get more rent. They will go up in value. And that's how you make real net worth over time. What do you think is the best property strategy at the moment? I'd like to hear from you in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about this stuff, the best way to do it is to grab the fundamentals of property investing. It's 100 videos. It's really detailed on all you need to do to find property below market value, how to sort out the solicitors, all of that stuff. And it's less than £30. In the description, you can grab a copy of that now. Do grab that copy and go and watch it. You'll learn some stuff, and that will be really useful if you're interested in investing in property. Do also make sure you check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here.